Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a great Tuesday. Today, we are talking about purification. Why? Simply because I had too many signs from the universe that this is what I should be talking about. I had friends and clients ask me about how to strengthen their connection with source energy. So the question was, how do I strengthen my alignment? How do I stay in alignment? How do I connect with source? I'm praying, I'm meditating, I still don't feel this connection with source energy. For others, they feel more connected galactically, but they're not connected with the ultimate source of energy. And how do we commune with these higher vibrations, these higher frequencies constantly? So the key to doing all this is through alignment. And how does alignment happen? It happens when we undergo purification. Purification is not something that we only do once, it's something that we do on a daily basis, and it's a conscious process. It's something you do while you're being aware of what you're doing. So to define purification, purification is when you remove resistance biologically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually that prevents the flow of energy through you and that prevents the flow of light through you. One of my teachers, Master Choa Koksui, said, the light is always there. How much light comes to you depends on you, which means how much light can pass through you will really depend on how purified you are. Why? Because the less resistance you have, the more electricity can flow through the wires. The less resistance you have energetically within your cells, within your body, within your emotional body and your mental body, the easier it is for these higher, refined, divine frequencies to flow through you. And this is how you automatically upgrade your frequency. So what happens when you purify? When you purify, you are aligning and communing. Actually, I love this new word, commune. Commune is when you communicate and you unite with these higher vibrations and higher frequencies. This is not something that's outside of us. This is something that's within us. When we pray, it's not really that we are praying to something outside of us. You are praying to your essence. You are praying to what's inside of you. You are connecting with what's inside of you. And, the thing is that when we say what's inside of us, people assume that this is me. I'm just that physical body. You are not. You are a body inside a soul. And the soul is huge. And what's bigger than the soul is these outer layers that all belong to you. And the more you are purified, the more you allow more light to go through you, the more you start feeling those outer layers within you. And the more you do that, the more you get to connect with layers and layers and layers that are more and more and more refined. And that is how you connect with source energy. So you want to go inside to that very core. This is why all religions and all spiritual schools ask us to know ourselves. Know thyself is the ultimate message. Because by knowing yourself, you are connected with source energy automatically. And when we say knowing yourself, it doesn't mean knowing my favorite color or my favorite food or my favorite hobbies or activities. It's much deeper than that. It's knowing your true nature as a soul having a human experience. The soul is an extension of God energy, just like the rays of the sun are an extension of the sun. But the rays and the sun are one and the same, right? The sun cannot exist without the rays. The rays cannot exist without the sun. It's the same with us as source energy. We are an extension of source energy, and we carry that within us as the core, as the essence of our truth. So when you're praying, yes, you pray, we pray to God. And when we meditate, we listen to God, but we're connecting through our hearts, going deep within. And to do that, purification is what helps, because if there's no purification, if you're carrying loads and loads of low frequencies that keep us feeling confused or lost or distracted, or even frequencies that may be dark sometimes, then how are we supposed to really see the light? So that's why you want to purify yourself. You want to get that resistance out of the way. You really want to become an empty vessel, more empty every single day. So this is more of a subtractive process. It's not an addition. You're not adding layers on top of you. You're subtracting, you're removing, you're shedding off those unwanted frequencies that prevent you from seeing what is there all the time. The light is there all the time. So what happens when a person feels and is more purified? When you are more and more purified, creativity will flow through you. Abundance will be naturally part of your reality. Because nature, if you look at nature, nature is abundant. You don't find one or two stars in the sky. You find billions of stars. You don't find one or two kinds of trees or 10 kinds of trees. There are actually more than 60,000 species of trees. Look at the diversity of animals. Look at the huge numbers of everything that naturally exists. This alone tells us that any feelings of scarcity, for instance, are not natural. They are not normal. They are not who you are. As a soul, you are abundant. You are creative. You are love. And therefore, when you purify, you will become one with creativity, one with love, one with abundance, one with all those great qualities, even power. You know, nowadays we talk a lot about physical purification, purifying our space, purifying our body, decluttering, etc. All this is important. But what's more important for us to have more light pass through us is mental, emotional, spiritual purification. And how does that happen? It's through character building. Why character building? Because character building is how you remove resistance from your body. It's how you remove resistance, not just from your energy body, but also from your physical body. And that's why you hear that some prophets gave the 10 commandments. Other prophets came and said, you know, that they were messengers to teach people how to have these high morals. And I'm not saying that, you know, if you don't have high morals, you cannot have power. You know, the first argument here is some people are evil, but they have a lot of power and they achieve everything in life, etc. Yeah, but that's not knowing yourself. That's not the aim of the game. Power is not the aim of the game here. You can have all the power in the world, but still not get to know who you really are, because you are much more than power. The nature of the soul is not only power, it's divine light, divine love, and divine power. It's those three very important elements. And if one of them is there and the others are not, then you are not really in connection with your truest nature. Then some part is missing. If you have too much power, but you don't have love in your heart, then there is no union, there is no communication, there is no connection with source, because we are all source energy. This having more power but very little love is against the law of one, which means I cannot see that you and I are one and the same because I have too much power. Right? I feel more powerful than others. Therefore, I am separating myself from others in that sense. Having too much love without any power, and by power, we mean here the ability to take action and to bring things into creation. If you have too much love, but that love is not directed in the right direction, that love is not guided in the right direction, then you won't really be able to do much. And if you have love and you have power, but you don't have divine intelligence, the knowingness, you know, people might end up doing stupid things. This is clearly explained by Master Choa Koksui, which I love because it makes so much sense. And these three together, divine light, divine love, divine power, with divine light being the knowingness, divine intelligence, divine love being the love that you carry in your heart and the oneness that you feel with others, and divine power being the willpower and the ability to bring things to life. With all these three combined in the perfect balance, you start to know your truest nature more and more. And so for this to happen, purification is really important. Yes, people who have a lot of darkness might achieve great things, but they will not know their truest self, and they will have to come back here to earth or have to take the lesson over and over and over again until they are in touch with their truest nature. But know for a fact that once you get to know yourself more and more, you will automatically thrive. Thriving is your truest nature. It's not normal to live in survival mode. So how does purification happen? Through character building. Number one is through being honest. By being honest with yourself and being honest with others, you're removing all the resistance that lying creates within your system. Some people, yes, are impulsive liars, and it's very easy for them to lie, but on a subconscious level, and on a deep emotional level, their emotional body knows that this is against the nature of the soul. When you're lying, it might be easy for you to lie, but your system knows that this is not my truest nature. And this alone creates resistance in your cells that prevents light and more energy from flowing through you, divine light from flowing through you. And so it prevents a stronger connection with source energy. So honesty is one of the most important parts of character building because it does purify you. That's why they say the truth shall set you free. When you are honest, when you are truthful with yourself and with others, when you speak the truth, that means you're not living in fear. Why do people lie really? People lie out of fear of being judged, or out of fear of others, or for self-preservation. So if you're always honest, that means you know you're in safe hands. You know that telling the truth is the right way. You know that that's your truest nature. And that means you're not living in fear. When you're honest, it means you're living with love in your heart. You're living out of love. You're not scared that someone might judge you. You're not scared that you might die. You're not scared that something wrong will happen to you. You carry the truth, you become the truth, you express the truth, and that automatically raises your vibration and connects you with the Most High. Number 2 is being loving and being kind, as opposed to injuring others, hurting others, or hurting yourself. Things like self-sabotage, things like self-judgment, these go against the nature of the soul. The soul is love, right? It's also a lot of love. And when you are loving, not just towards others, but towards yourself, that means you don't victimize yourself. That means you don't have self-sabotage. That means you don't hurt yourself. But what does it mean when I self-love? When I self-love, that means I do things for myself that will help me elevate my vibration, that would help make my journey on earth better. And so I don't surrender to dark thoughts. I don't let them take over. I don't surrender to thoughts that may sabotage my well-being or my health or my mental health or my emotional health. I choose what's right for me and what's right for others. I recognize the other as a spiritual being, as a mirror of a part of my consciousness, because the law of oneness is about connecting with source energy. Therefore, when I'm loving and kind towards others, I do not judge. So the less you judge, the more you purify. The less you victimize yourself, the more you purify. The less you have injuring thoughts or hurtful thoughts towards other people or towards yourself, the more you purify and the more you connect with your truest self and the more you connect with source. The third aspect is generosity. As I said, abundance is natural. Look at nature around you. When you are generous, it means you are not attached to something, because we know that as source energy is everything, and therefore there cannot be lack. It simply cannot exist. It's only in our minds. It's a distracting thought that keeps us in survival mode. When you are generous and you are giving, you know that the universe will provide you with plenty more. When you are generous, that means abundance is not just a part of you, you are one with abundance. Also, living in scarcity comes from the need for self-preservation. And when I say scarcity, it's not only about stinginess, let's say, it can also be about greed. People who are greedy have actually a very scarce mentality, scarcity thoughts, because when you want everything to come to you and only you, deep inside it's about a fear that you're not going to have enough or that others will have more than you. And that's a feeling of scarcity. When you're generous, you're more open, not just generous materially, but also generous with your emotions, generous with your love, generous with your kindness. When you open up and you become more generous with your emotions, with your money, with the acts of kindness and the acts of love that you can show to others, then that is an expression of you aligning with abundance and connecting more and more with source energy. Another virtue that's an important part of character building is your ability to focus, because when you focus, you can make things happen, you can create, or you can even attract more. Why? Because you are learning how to summon the energy and move it in a particular direction. To be able to focus, of course, you want to attain a higher level of clarity. So you want to clarify your mind from intrusive thoughts, distracting thoughts, dark thoughts, right? Or unnecessary thoughts, so that your energy can focus and can go in the right direction. And so this is why focus is considered a virtue, because it's in direct alignment with one of the greatest traits of the soul as a creator. As a soul, you can create, you can make things happen, you can draw things towards you, you can manifest them intentionally, and this requires non-distraction. So the more I'm able to take charge of the direction in which I'm going, I'm able to hold that steering wheel and instead of letting the steering wheel, move on its own and go right and left, I'm choosing to hold the steering wheel and direct it. That means I am able to focus more and more, and I'm able to align with my truest nature more and more, which means the soul is taking over. And once the soul takes over, that is alignment with source energy, and that is your stronger connection with source energy. So these were some of the key virtues that fall under character building and help you align with source energy and connect more and more. There are others, but these are the ones that you should focus on as a start so that you can purify more and more. Now, when it comes to physical purification, which is also important, your body is a part of you. It is also a frequency. It might be a denser frequency than your emotional or your mental body, but it's still your vessel for navigating this journey on earth, for navigating this reality. And so you want to take care of that too. This is why, you hear about things such as salt baths. When you purify yourself physically with salt and water, what you're doing is you are able to remove negative, lower frequencies that may be stuck to your system, that may be stuck to your aura as well. So cleansing yourself with salt and water will help purify you more. And that explains why you feel really good when you go to the beach or when you swim in the sea. Salt is such a great purifier. Or take salt baths at home, whether it's Epsom salt or even, table salt is fine. Just you can put that in your bathtub, or if you don't have a tub, in the shower, just scrub yourself with salt and water, and you will really feel much better afterwards. So this is one of the ways in which you can purify your physical body. You can take this a step further when you're swimming in any body of water, the sea or the ocean or a lake or a river, the water is nice and clean. You can baptize yourself. You connect with the water. Water is a conscious being that's alive, that can hear you and that can respond to you. And so if you ask the water to help you be rebirthed, it will. So you place the water over your head, you ask to be rebirthed, you ask for any lower frequencies to be removed, and you ask for your connection with source energy to be clear and to be reignited, and for the connection with yourself to be reignited and to be strengthened. And so even under the shower, every time you shower, just say, I'm being rebirthed. Thank you, water, for cleansing me. Thank you for removing lower frequencies. Thank you for igniting my connection with myself and with source energy. This is when it comes to water and salt. Of course, you want to purify your body through what you ingest. Food has such a big influence on the way we function because of frequency. Everything is a frequency. If you eat low frequency food, low vibrational food, and things like junk, things that are filled with chemicals, etc., then this will affect the way your mind functions, and it will affect your emotional and your mental body. So all these chemical reactions that take place in our body, if they're the wrong chemical reactions, they will affect all parts of us, all aspects of us, and vice versa. So make sure that you eat food that's good for your body, that's high vibrational, and of course that will have a very positive effect. When you detox, when you purify, why do you really feel better? When you remove toxins from your body, you do feel better, you do feel clearer, you're able to focus more, you're able to sleep better, you have more energy within you. That is also a form of connection with source energy. Source energy does not mean being tired. It does not mean being lazy. It does not mean being confused or having mental fog. Source energy is pure light, being aware and awakened and active and filled with life. So to have more life force flowing through you and to have more refined frequencies, coming in through this life force, you want to take care of yourself, respect your body, love your body more, and therefore eat the right foods. And before you eat or drink, if you energize the water or you energize the food, then you're playing a conscious part in your own purification. If you ask that food to nourish and nurture your cells and your being, or you ask that water that you're drinking to purify your cells from within and remove any toxins, then you are literally amplifying that purification process. And so you're helping yourself become more cleansed, and you're helping yourself become a clearer vessel. Another great way to purify is through breath work. The right breath work will remove resistance from your energy centers, will remove resistance from your cells even, will enable your organs to function more efficiently, and will clear the path so that more life force can reach every part of you, every cell within your system. And when you breathe and you're bringing in more life force, you're also purifying yourself emotionally, and you're purifying your mind. And so mentally, you will have more clarity, and so more light will be able to flow through you. For mental purification and even emotional purification, we talked about water, but in fact, all the elements are as important. When you walk barefoot on the ground, you are purifying physically, mentally, and emotionally. Earth is great at cleansing. You can ask, it's just about us playing a more active, conscious role in this. When we walk barefoot, connect with the earth and ask the earth to purify you, and you will feel much better. That's why when you walk barefoot for a while, you do feel better. It's not only because you're absorbing ions into your system, it's also because earth is absorbing all the lower frequencies from within your system. Connecting with fire as well will help purify you emotionally and mentally. When you write things down, let's say, that are bothering you on a piece of paper, you are already removing, right, those negative frequencies from one place into another. Fine, there is no space or time, but you are making this conscious effort and conscious intention to get these out of your system, place them somewhere else. You fold that piece of paper, let's say you throw it into the fire, you ask the fire to transmute these lower frequencies, these negative thoughts, these negative obstacles or challenges in your life, and transmute that energy. So you are playing a part in your purification. The pen and paper are playing a part in purification, and the fire is doing the actual work as well by transmuting these. So by connecting with the fire, you can also purify and ask the fire to help remove everything from within your system. As you work on your mental and your emotional and your physical purification, then your spiritual purification becomes much easier. This is when you really can connect with more galactic beings, the angelic realm, etc., because you are preparing yourself as a full vessel to perceive these more refined frequencies and to connect with them more. And of course, do everything intentionally as well. So then when your mind is clear and you're able to focus, it's very easy for you to bring down frequencies. Say, I want to connect with the crystalline frequency. I want to connect with the emerald frequency. I want to connect with the emerald order, with the amethyst order, with the God worlds, with the golden order. Ultimately, you want to connect with the Most High. So by opening your heart up, by cleansing and purifying mentally and physically and emotionally, enabling your heart to open up more and more, you are automatically going to bring in more divine energy. And of course, this is where we have meditations that help speed up this process and make things much faster for you. We have meditations and energetic processes that enable your heart to open wider. In the course that I'm going to release very soon, you will learn how to open your heart more and more very, very easily, because that is the easiest way to purify. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them. Don't forget to book your free frequency upgrade call if you're new to the group, so that we can kickstart your life shift. 2025 is going to be amazing, but it's going to take some conscious effort on your behalf. Things will happen to you when you decide to be a part of this shift. So do your part and life will be on your side. Continue thriving, and I'll see you next week. Take care.